New Nordic, find in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or Amazon, or newnordicusa.com.
Fox News, I'm Tom Rigotti. President Trump had a phone call with his Israeli counterpart as he tries to maintain a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Fox's Peter Doocy reports.
I'm told by a White House official, President Trump wants peace, and that is why he phoned Benjamin Netanyahu to tell him that Saturday's strikes on nuclear facilities in Iran would be it. No more offensive American strikes inside of Iran. I am told that call was exceptionally firm.
The Democratic primary for New York mayor is today, with former Governor Andrew Cuomo among the candidates.
Early voting turnout was quite high. More than 384,000 New Yorkers voted early, which is actually double what we saw back in 2021. Cuomo, of course, is trying to mount a political comeback. His biggest challenger is a Democratic socialist, 33-year-old state lawmaker Zoran Mamdani.
It's Fox's Nate Foy. America's listening to Fox News.
Your 710 KURV AccuWeather forecast. Mainly clear skies this evening with a low of 75. Variable clouds for tomorrow with a thunderstorm in spots of the afternoon. Tomorrow's high 96. Clear to partly cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 76. Thursday mostly cloudy. Widely separated afternoon thunderstorms will reach a high Thursday of 91 to 95. For your Friday, partly sunny, high 94 to 98. I'm AccuWeather's Drew Shannon on the Valley's official weather station, 710 KURV.
The Rio Grande Valley's news, weather, and talk station. News Talk 710 KURV and KURV.com.
News Talk 710 KURV.
I'm Zach Cantu along with the living legend Davis Rankin, your 956 drive home. Take a look at the radar right now. We've got some big showers and thunderstorms over central and western Hidalgo County moving into Starr County. And that's going to be lingering for at least an hour or so. The Valley's news and weather station, News Talk 710 KURV. Joining us now, we're talking about Mexico. The U.S. consulate in Matamoros and Tamaulipas issued an alert over a series of kidnappings along certain Mexican border highways. Joining us is Ildefonso Poncho Ortiz from Breitbart, Texas, right on the border. What's been happening? What's been happening, Poncho? I know we've got the level 4 do not travel that's been put out by the United States government. It's crazy over there. What's happening?
Well, Zach, thank you for having me. The level 4 has been in place for several years. I mean, it's been a while since we've had the levels of violence that we've seen in Reynosa, Matamoros, and so forth, and the surrounding areas. What changed, it happened in the last couple of weeks, was that they were starting to see kidnappings along the highway that connects Reynosa with Monterrey. Now, these are separate from the kidnapping of those musicians that we had last month that were, those musicians that were kidnapped and killed in Reynosa. This is separate. What's happening is that we're having the Cartel del Noreste faction of Los Zetas, which are Nuevo Laredo. They push south and then east into the state of Nuevo León, and they're actually taking over highways that were previously controlled by the Gulf Cartel. And that's why they're seeing this rise in kidnappings, because these guys are setting up roadblocks and they're setting up pretty much checkpoints where people pull up and they think that it's police officers, but they're actually cartel gunmen. A couple of days ago, last week, there was a group of musicians separate from the other musicians that were traveling along this highway. They get taken. Then last week also, there was three women that were traveling. They were taken. There was a doctor that was traveling. He was taken. And there's been 2 other cases of innocent victims. I'm talking like regular, everyday people that were traveling along that highway, and they have been taken by these gunmen. And those are only the reported cases. We don't know exactly the real number because a lot of people do not report, kidnappings, carjackings, and so forth. But it basically reached a level that even the Reynosa public security director put out a warning saying, hey, don't travel at night, travel on the toll highway, don't travel on the free highways. And then, most recently, last weekend, the U.S. consulate basically said, hey, just don't travel on these highways. This is very dangerous. There's kidnappings, and we may not be able to do anything about it, or we may not be able to help you in these cases. I mean, that's the level of where things have gotten.
Poncho, what are they looking for? Are they looking for somebody in particular, and they're just grabbing people that fit a description, these cartel guys, or why did they pick up these musicians?
I mean, at this point, who knows? I mean, a lot of these kidnappings, one, in the case of musicians, it could be some reason. It could be drug business. It could be personal business. It could just be that they were looking for somebody else. And in the case of the motorist, I mean, they're stopping vehicles that are traveling at night. It could be attempted carjacking. It could be to take their vehicle. It could be to take money. It could be, at this point, since it's a different cartel moving into a cartel that's controlled by the Gulf Cartel, the area, they could just be trying to make things bad for them to force authorities to crack down on the Gulf Cartel. So it could be a lot of these different things, but at the end of the day, it comes down to the highways are not safe, and Mexico's government is not doing anything about it.
I think it's very telling. Ildefonso Poncho Ortiz from Breitbart, Texas, joining us on 710 KURV. It's very telling that we're at level 4 with Mexico for that area. I feel like that should be bigger news, because that's like the big terrorist country. Don't go there because something is going to happen to you.
Well, Zach, but you have to remember that we've been at level 4 for at least 10 years.
Don't remind me of that.
What's the next level up, Poncho?
There is no level up. Level 4 is a do not travel warning. And the state of Tamaulipas has been a level 4 for at least 10 years, if not more, as per the U.S. Department of State.
So what do people do who have to drive, who have to travel? Not you or me, but like people who have business and some position in culture and society.
At the end of the day, it's a number game. People will be like, oh, I travel to the highway every day and nothing bad happens to me. And, there's just going to be that one day when you do encounter a roadblock, kind of like people that go to Reynosa all the time and say, oh, I'm here all the time, nothing bad ever happens. And then just one day they're caught in the middle of a shootout, and now they're, facing trauma over that, or they were scared. I mean, it just becomes one of those cases where, people that live in those cities, they kind of like take little precautions. They know not to go out at night, not to travel highways by night. And, they just hope for the best. And that's literally what it comes down to. I mean, because at the end of the day, we have to remember that unlike in the U.S., where law enforcement will act, they will do something, they will go after these individuals. In Mexico, they work for the same boss, so they ultimately don't do anything.
You ever meet any of the people you talk about down there? Is there any kind of placa or something you can put on your car that says, I've already paid off who I need to? I'm joking, but serious. I'm protected.
So
Don't stop me.
The way it works is when you have to travel across, and in certain cities like Nuevo Laredo, for example, the Cartel del Noreste will actually, when you pay your fee to cross, they will give you a code, a specific code. So then when you're stopped down the road by their gunman or whatever, you just tell them that code and then they'll wave you through. They're that organized.
I am amazed by that. I got a couple of minutes here. I wanted to ask you, there was a media outlet, you just posted this one today, I think, a news outlet in Mexico that the governor was using lawfare to shut down.
Yes, that was it was a newspaper called Tribuna. They have been active since 1975. They were the first printed paper in Campeche. Then in 2024, they stopped printing because they started getting hammered with several lawsuits by the governor of Campeche, who she used to be a senator before, Laida Sansores. And basically, she was unhappy because that paper or that online outlet was reprinting wire stories from other outlets, from the wire service that were basically accusing her and her staff and people close to her of shady dealings with contracts, embezzlement, ties to organized crime, and so forth. Basically, the kind of the stuff that we do with, the kind of stories that we love to publish. These guys published it in Mexico, but because they're a Mexican outlet, she basically kept suing them and sued them into closing their doors. The former director of that outlet is banned or prohibited by court from being a journalist for 2 years. This newspaper that was active for 50 years has closed because of the power that Mexico's ruling party has at this point.
Wow.
That is incredible. I'm just glad we live on this side of the border, Davey.
Look 20 years in the future. What does Mexico look like?
If it stays, the same party stays in power, it's going to look a lot closer to Venezuela, Cuba, or heck, even Iran. I mean, that's the way things are going, the way this party has taken over, the way the cartels are taking over. I mean, these cartels, they work like terrorist organizations. While they may not push a certain ideology, they do it for money and they do it for, with the drugs.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's the same MO. They work the same way. And I see the clear parallels and into the future, 20 years from now, if that something doesn't change, that's where this is going.
Hey, thanks a lot, Poncho. Stay safe out there. Alfonso Poncho Ortiz at Breitbart, Texas, joining us on News Talk 710 KURV.
Coming up in just a few minutes, top of the hour news with Fox News Radio. Stay tuned for the latest headlines. News Talk 710 KURV. Tune in to the 956 Drive Home every Thursday afternoon starting at 5:07 for Dr. Rachel Gelman's Vision, a closer look at the health of your eyesight with board-certified and fellowship-trained ophthalmic surgeon Dr. Rachel Gelman on News Talk 710 KURV.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom check